Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Harry Brailsford at SMB Nation, and we're coming to you with a very interesting news item on a recently released research report from Spiceworks on cyber insurance. And so I'm joined today by Peter Tsai from their HQ in Austin, Texas. I'm actually coming to you from IBM Think in San Francisco, and we wanted to get together and capture this story. So, Peter, good afternoon. And for those that don't know about Spiceworks and yourself, could you please introduce both?
Sure. So my name is Peter Tsai. I'm the Senior Technology Analyst at Spiceworks. And Spiceworks is a marketplace that connects IT professionals and sellers, so the vendors that we all know and love, so like Dell and HP and VMware and all the rest. So we help connect IT pros to IT vendors so that IT pros can discover the latest technology, and we help brands market their technologies and provide service and support through our platform.
Okay, great. Well, let's start with the basics. This is a topic, I'm going to ask a simple question, and the reason is it's a topic, quite frankly, we haven't covered, and I wanted to jump on it when your research report came out. So what is cyber insurance?
Sure. So cyber insurance is a relatively new trend, which is probably why a lot of you haven't heard of it, but it is what it sounds like. So it's an insurance policy that exists to help companies pick up after the pieces if they've been hit by a security incident, such as a data breach. So if say you're hit by malware or you have some data loss, they'll provide some monetary relief that can help you recover your data, or maybe deal with some required audits that you might have to go through, and it helps lessen the impact of some of those events.
Yeah, and so follow up to that would be kind of what's the story on the research that you did in this area, maybe why you did it, and how many people did you survey and talk to, and then I'm going to ask you a couple specific questions.
Okay, sure. So this research is part of an ongoing series of research that Spiceworks does. So we just look for emerging topics and interesting subjects to survey IT pros in the Spiceworks community about. And we have typically hundreds or even thousands of respondees take our surveys every time around. This time, the exact number was about 580 IT professionals from a wide range of company sizes, industries, and regions as well. So we had them answer about 10 questions about cyber insurance, ranging from how long they've had coverage, why they purchase or don't purchase cyber insurance, and we really wanted to get behind the numbers and see how many companies were actually adopting this type of coverage.
Sure. Well, by the way, I've said it once, I've said it twice, I'll say it again in my years of covering yourself and Spiceworks, but I appreciate your organization's commitment to funding primary research. It's truly a lost art, and Peter, and you don't have to comment, but all too often in the media, we've kind of become a world of copy and paste out of press releases.
Yeah, and we do have the audience. We have millions of IT professionals coming to the community, so we want to help them see what their peers are up to and see what the trends in the industry are. And if we can't find that data online, then we just run a survey and find out what our users are actually going through.
Yep. Next question. At first blush, I looked over your work, and you said there's a 40% coverage rate. And my tummy told me that seemed a little bit light. And maybe you wanted to find what that coverage rate is, but it felt a little bit light. Or did that number meet your expectations?
Well, yeah, the exact number was 38%. And it did more or less meet our expectations, because on one hand, you have people who have never even heard of cyber insurance before. And we saw this in the community when we initially polled the community just in an informal poll, asking if anybody had even heard of it. A lot of people said that they didn't. And it was about half a year ago when we first did an informal poll, and about 30% of the audience said that they had cyber insurance at the time. And I read some industry reports from insurance companies themselves that said cyber insurance was growing at a very rapid pace year over year. So now that we did an official study several months later, the number 38% doesn't really surprise us too much. And we'll go into more data later, but a lot of people said there was a lack of awareness of cyber insurance within their company. And a lot of people were unsure of it because it's pretty new to most people, even though there have been some products product offerings for many years.
Well, maybe you've answered part of my next question. I had made a note to kind of ask you what are the top reasons, the top 3 reasons companies don't carry cyber insurance, and maybe I just heard you say awareness might be one of them.
Yeah, awareness is one of them. So let me just go through the top reasons they do carry.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So a lot of folks are doing it just as a precautionary measure. For example, earlier in the show, I talked about how they might run into fines if they have a data breach. So just in case, it's always better to be safe than sorry. Also, with all the security events and security news and coverage, a lot of companies are putting an increased priority on cybersecurity. So while 71% said that they were carrying the insurance as a precautionary measure, 44% were doing so because of an increased priority on cybersecurity, and 39% of organizations purchased cyber insurance because they handle a lot of sensitive or personal data.
Yep.
And then on the flip side, talking about why companies don't carry cyber insurance.
Yep.
So the top 3 reasons were companies not making cyber insurance a priority at their organization.
Yep.
And that was reported by 41% of organizations that don't have cyber insurance. Lack of budget was reported by 40%, and a lack of knowledge about cyber insurance was reported by 36% of our survey respondents.
Yep. No, that makes sense to me. That passes what I call the sense test.
Yeah, it's all common sense, and then you see it verified in the data, and that's comforting to know.
You know, the last question I have, and again, appreciate your time coming to us from Austin, Texas. What do you forecast the coverage rate to say be a year from now, assuming you redo this study? If you had to guess, it's a growth area.
Right. So there's been a lot of growth in the past. So I haven't mentioned yet that of the companies we talked to that have coverage, about 45% of those companies had purchased insurance only within the last 2 years. So there's a lot of new customers out there, and looking out 2 more years into the future, we anticipate the growth and adoption of cyber insurance to increase by 11% of companies who don't have coverage right now. We expect them to start subscribing to this service.
Yep. Well, that sounds good. Well, keep us on your results list so we can make sure we swing back around and talk to you. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if you're able to share, but are there any research reports coming out? We're sitting here in Q1. Can we expect some more research in Q2, Q3? Don't know if you're able to share that.
Yeah, so in the coming months, we're doing research about purchase patterns within businesses. So we're going to take a look at server purchasing. For example, what channels they buy servers through, what are the trends in the server market, and we're also looking at leasing versus buying hardware. So not only servers, but also printers, desktops, desk phones, laptops, etc. So there will be 2 different reports coming out in the next couple of months.
All right. Well, we'll circle back to you. Thank you, Peter. Thanks for your time.
Sounds good. Thank you, Harry. We'll talk to you later.